What's on, ladies and gentlemen? My name's Ross, I like games, and today we need to talk about some new Punk Hazard cards that are coming in OP-10 over for the One Piece card game. And some of these are going to look fun, and some of these are going to look weird. Sound like a plan? Excellent. Let's start off with Caesar Clown. We got a 7 cost, 7,000 power. No counter, I believe, here. We don't have the best look, but no, there's no counter. And we got a really nice skill, whereby when you play this, you look at the top 5 cards of your deck. You reveal a Smiley and put it into your hand. The rest of the cards go to the bottom of your deck, and then you may play up to 1 Smiley from your hand. As a side note, we've seen this a few times in the One Piece TCG. You don't have to play the one you got from your top 5 card search, which is important because it means if you've got one in hand and you look at the top 5 cards and you don't find one, you can still play the one you previously had in your hand. But if you do hit one from the top 5 cards, then you got another one to play in the future. And look, this is one of those cards where I look at it and I go, okay, well, you know what? This seems pretty good. But we can't really make a proper judgment about this until we see Smiley and what Smiley does. Well, wonderful news. We've seen Smiley, and we know what Smiley does. And what we've got is 5 cost, 6,000 power, counter plus 1,000, and we've got an on-play skill, whereby if your leader is Punk Hazard, one of your opponent's characters gets minus 3,000 power. Honestly, getting a 6k body on the board for free when you're playing Caesar Clown, not too bad. However, we've also got a nice little skill here that lowers power by 3k to one of your opponent's characters. That is nice. That is honestly very, very nice. Now, of course, we need to look at this and go, well, hang on a second then. This only works with Punk Hazard leaders. What have we got in terms of Punk Hazard leaders? Well, you may remember the other day that I told you there were, in fact, a couple of Punk Hazard leaders that we've already seen. I say already seen. We've seen all the leaders in the set. There are 2 Punk Hazard leaders. There are exactly 2. There aren't any more. We've got Caesar Clown. Doesn't surprise us, of course, because we just saw Caesar Clown. And then we've got Smoker in Tashigi's body because that's something that happens in the Punk Hazard arc. Now, it is important to note that Smiley and Caesar Clown are red, but both the leader Caesar Clown and the leader Smoker are red. Caesar Clown is red-blue, Smoker is red-green, but obviously it looks like in this set we're seeing mostly red, not entirely, but mostly red Punk Hazard cards so they can be played with either of them. And I like this as a pair. I like paying 7 Don to get 2 bodies on the board, a 7k and a 6k. That seems like a pretty good deal. I like also lowering one of my opponent's characters by 3k in the process. I like being able to pull this off. Now, one thing you might need, if you're trying to pull this off, one thing you might be looking for here is a way to get all these Punk Hazard cards out and on the board. And would you believe it? We've got Virgo, who is Punk Hazard and Navy and Don Quixote Pirates, but here really we're talking about Punk Hazard. And it's your generic Punk Hazard searcher. 1 cost, 2,000 power, counter plus 1,000, and on play, look at the top 5 cards of your deck, reveal up to 1 Punk Hazard card other than Virgo, put it into your hand, put the rest at the bottom of your deck in any order. It's a classic generic searcher we've been seeing since the first set, but if you're playing a bunch of these Punk Hazard cards, this is going to help you. And especially where, you know, we're going for Caesar Clown and Smiley here. We need to try and get both of them in our hand at the same time to pull off the combo. Well, seems like using something like this to go and search them out could be a little bit of an advantage. And you add this all up together and it's looking quite nice. Caesar Clown is nice. Smiley, I don't really like Smiley very much, but I like Smiley when you can play it with Caesar Clown. And then you got Virgo for your search. This seems cool, but not very super rare. How about we have a look at a couple super rare, including Sanji. Now, obviously here, you're going to look at that and go, wassy, wassy, wassy. That's Nami, and I'm going to go, no, mate, that is Sanji. Go read the manga. Because, and we saw this the other day, I showed you a Tony Chopper that looked a lot like Sanji. Now I'm showing you a Sanji that looks a lot like Nami. And of course, we know all of this. I told you this the other day. In the manga and the anime, essentially what happens here is that they all get mixed up into new bodies. So, and obviously, you know, I showed you the leader Smoker a minute ago, who was actually Smoker in Tashigi's body. And this is something, I told you the other day, we're going to get a bunch more of these. And that was pretty much guaranteed. But look, at this stage, like I say, we've got Tony Chopper in Sanji's body, and we got Sanji in Nami's body, so I think at this stage we can be pretty confident in predicting that we're just going to get all the Straw Hats in their respective new bodies, whatever those new bodies might end up being. Cool. So, we've got a new super rare. What did it actually do? Well, we got free cost, 3,000 power, counter plus 1,000. But on your turn, it gains 3,000 power, and on KO, you get to draw a card. This is brilliant. Like, generic card would be 3k, 5,000 power, counter plus 1,000. Well, on your turn, it's free cost 6k, counter plus 1,000, and when it gets KO'd, you get to draw a card. That's fantastic. Sure, on your opponent's turn, it goes back down to a 3k, which is a little bit annoying, but I'm totally okay with this. And I gotta say, this strikes me more as a Smoker card than it does a Caesar Clown card. Because that's got a skill whereby on your opponent's turn, all of your Punk Hazard and Navy cards gain 1,000 power. So now this would be a 4k on your opponent's turn, giving it a little bit of extra protection. But also, it's got an activate main once per turn. If you've got a 7k or higher character on the board, you get to activate 2 Don. Well, on your turn, this turns into a free cost 6k. So you whack a Don on there, or, you know, get it a 1k boost from anywhere else, and then all of a sudden you're a free cost 7k, and what you really want to be doing, like when you're playing the Smoker leader, you want to try and get one of your characters to 7k as easily and as cheaply as possible in order to activate that, activating your 2 Don skill. So this is a free cost, but it's going to come down as a 6k, so you boost it up by 1,000, then all of a sudden, really, it's kind of a 1 cost, because you're getting 2 Don back. Now, it doesn't have Rush, so getting it back that turn, yeah. But next turn, you know, you pay 3 this turn, get 2 back next turn. I'm just saying, this seems like a very, very good statted card. And then, as if the good stats weren't enough, on KO, you get to draw a card. I really like this card. It is not an expensive card, but it's one that is going to help out a lot. We expect a bit more from the super rares, let's be clear. We expect them to be a little bit better. This one seems to fit the bill quite nicely. But one super rare doesn't seem enough for this video. Let's go for a second, and it is actually Smoker. But again, we're talking about Punk Hazard, although it is also Navy. So we're talking about Smoker in Tashigi's body. It is Smoker, just happens to look a lot like Tashigi. And you'll notice he's got his staffing rather than Tashigi's swords. And, you know, the giant cigar. Kind of a bit of a staple of Smoker, really. And what we've got here is 5 cost, 7,000 power, no counter. Remember, having a power 2 more than your cost and counter plus 1k is your standard vanilla card. So if you're going to have 5 cost 7k, you can't have a counter. You lose the counter to gain the skills. Well, firstly, you've got Banish. So triggers don't activate when you take a life and it doesn't go to your opponent's hand and gets discarded. That's quite nice. But then we've got Activate Main, set one of your Don cards to active, then you cannot set your Don cards as active through character effects for the rest of the turn. But you get to set one of your Don to active, which, as I said a minute ago, is a pretty good thing. Now, I translated this myself, and it does very specifically say, this turn, character effects, or from character effects, Don cannot be activated. So remember I told you a minute ago about the leader Smoker and the fact that it activates 2 of your Don? That is not a character effect. That is a leader effect. So that shouldn't stop you activating it with your leader, just stops you activating it with your character. Which is honestly kind of awesome. I like this. I like this very, very much indeed. I like Smoker and Tashigi, they've always been one of my favourite pairs of characters, and now, having them both on the same card really does make it seem like I should be trying to play this deck when OP-10 comes out. For now, I've told you about the new Punk Hazard card, so now it's over to you guys. Tell me which of these cards are exciting you, tell me anything you want to tell me in the comment section. Go nuts! Be nice! And then make sure you like this video, subscribe to this channel, follow me on Twitter at TheWasi. That's where we talk about One Piece and a bunch of other card games. And please do consider checking out patreon.com/PTCG Radio, where you can support the channel, get some bonus podcasts and all kinds of fun things. But by far the most important thing, as always, look after yourselves till next time, would ya? Thank you very much for watching. My name's Ross, and you've been watching Wasi Plays.